it feels great after winning the third round of trials which were held in Bombay. This was the Asian Games trials. It was held just almost after 1 week after the second round. These were definitely the toughest conditions I've sailed in, because we had in some races winds gusting over 20 knots, and 20 knots is something for the first time I have sailed in that kind of wind, and especially foiling in that wind was quite a challenge for me. Yeah.
Okay. So how was the experience there?
So it was a good experience, sailing with the top athletes in India, fighting for a spot at the Asian Games. So it was a very good learning experience for me. I've learned a lot from my fellow competitors. So it was a good experience in
Okay.
yeah.
So how were the weather conditions?
So it was extremely hot, in Bombay. It was extremely hot, extreme weather conditions, and also the wind was really strong towards the end of the competition. Normally we like strong winds, but foiling in this wind was something new for me. So that was a bit of a challenge for me to sail in that kind of wind condition, but it was good. It was a good experience for me.
Okay. There are two ways of sailing in the water, as you know. Now recently they
Yes.
switched to another way. Now which is the one you are?
Two ways in the sense is basically we were windsurfing before with a board and a sail. Now the new Olympic sport basically is IQ foiling. It's an upgrade to windsurfing. So the only difference being we have a huge foil underneath our board that elevates from the surface. So it kind of is much faster than windsurfing in certain winds. So that is basically just an upgrade to windsurfing.
Okay. So overall now, how is your qualifying round that was?
Yes. So currently I am the only female Indian to have ever qualified twice in consecutive Asian Games from India in windsurfing. Yeah. So these were the 3 qualifying rounds that we had, all held in Mumbai.
So bronze and gold.
These are all 3 gold.
3 gold.
Yeah.
So you have been winning only gold, and what's the secret now? You want to tell people?
There's no secret, honestly. I mean, if we had more women in this sport, it would have been quite a challenge also. Women in sports in general, there are not a lot of female athletes in sports in general, and in windsurfing it's very low, the level of competition, the level of female participants, So in the near future I hope we have more female sailors in India. I hope they take up this sport. Of course it is a physically demanding sport, we are doing it in the hot sun. A lot of females maybe wouldn't, but we need more female athletes in sports.
Do you think government also should need to do something to promote this sport?
Yes, and especially in Goa, I believe, because we have all the resources we need. The main thing is we have such a beautiful beach, if you see in Bombay, they don't have beaches like how we have, and it is so polluted and so dirty, the beach over there. In Goa, we have the right kind of resources, we have the right kind of training facilities also, for beginners to join this sport. And I think a little push from the government, from the sports authorities towards this sport also would really help. I mean, we have football camps, we have so many various things for other sports, but I believe sailing is a beautiful sport and it keeps you physically very fit. I think this is what is needed and what should be promoted in the youth, like for youth. I think sports is something that needs to be in every household. People should be encouraging their kids to take up sports because it teaches you discipline, it builds character, in a child. And if you teach your child the discipline of sport, trust me, they will not go into any wrong direction. See, in Goa, everything is freely available. But if you have discipline and self-control, and if you focus on your goals like we are doing, then I think that's going to be a really good change for the generation that is yet to come.
So what happens to the association that is in Goa?
So I mean, as you asked me before also, like you said, in Taekwondo, the association has come to receive them from the airport, and they have a lot of support from the association. But sadly, there is this kind of miscommunication that happens with me and my association, I believe, because I'm not getting the support I'd want honestly from them. Um, I really don't know what else to say. I mean, I'm hoping that now, as an athlete, it was my duty to represent Goa and represent India and qualify for my country. As an athlete, that is my duty. But it is also the duty of the officials from now on to take it forward, you know. See, whatever I have done, I have in IQ foiling, I have learned only because of my father, who is my coach. Now at this level, national coaches are charging a bomb, you know, to learn. But thankfully I've had the resources of my father and my brother also. That is how I was able to learn. And now this new sport, that is IQ foiling, it is so technical and there are so many new things to learn. And over this last year, I have learned it all by myself. Like even in the races, sometimes I'm not knowing what I'm doing wrong or right, because I have not got the kind of coaching what other athletes have been getting. You know, I have not gotten any kind of foreign coaching in this field, in IQ foiling. And I think that is important. I mean, you know, now that I have qualified India for the Asian Games, it's a huge, you know, matter of pride for me, but it's also a huge responsibility on my shoulders. And in order to do well, I would require right kind of coaching. I mean, how can I perform well without the coaching, you know? And over here, I'm training just with my brother. So there's very less scope of improvement, because we are both new at this sport, we are both learning. But if you train with a field, like if you train with a group of other sailors, there is a lot of more things you can learn. There is a lot of scope. Like in other countries, like if you see the best countries right now, there is China, Hong Kong, they are sailing in a fleet of, you know, more than 10 people at all times. So when you have that kind of a fleet, when you're at that level of competing, you're only getting better. But if you're sailing alone, there is very less chance of improvement.
Okay. What about the financial support and all that? How does that help you?
So I haven't honestly been receiving a lot of financial support in my sport. It is a, you know, it is quite an expensive sport, and to sustain in this sport, it is very hard, because when it comes to financial support, I have received my prize money from 2011 this last year. So from 2011, whatever I've won, I've received it last year. So you can imagine, you know, it's a very delayed process, but thanks to the sports minister, you know, Mr. Goan Windsurfer, he has been taken my last case, which was for Thailand, where I won the first silver medal for India in IQ foiling. I got a little bit of financial support for that particular event, but we need to constantly be doing Asian Championships, European circuits. Now I want to start my campaign for the Asian Games, and I do require financial support for that.
So what's the message to the people, like
So for everyone who has been watching and who has been following my journey, I would like to say thank you from the bottom of my heart. All your wishes, I'm reading them, and you know, my inbox is full every time I win. Everyone is so you know, supportive on Facebook, on Instagram. The people of Goa have been coming out, you know, and supporting me on social media platforms. That really means a lot to me, especially because now my sport is being recognized. It is something completely rare, and for a female to do, you know, something like this and being acknowledged and recognized, that means a lot to me. So thank you.
Where Dane has won the Asian Games Trials 2021 in RSX, which was most physical and demanding sport in Olympics. Unfortunately, it has been dissolved and replaced by IQ foil for 2024 Olympics. Our visions are always higher, and my targets are also Asian Games and Olympics is my priority. This I have started in 2010, because most important is from the grassroots level you need to develop, and according to the development program, there are so many targets which you have to fulfill, and we have done the fulfillment. Today it's not so easy to go on to reach for the Asian Games for the second time. It is like a historic moment for our state as well as for our country, because Katya is the first Indian girl who have represented in 2014 for the Olympics, She made it again for the Asian Games in 2018, and she have done it again in 2023. So I mean, there is so much dedication, there's so much time which is involved, to reach to this. And just because I am their father, I am their coach, and I am their financer. And all this I have done not because of my interest. It is interest in my country and for my state. So today, I have supported from them in all the difficulties. When they are down, I have to motivate them and to keep up to that level. Just because they have followed my footsteps, just because I was a sailor earlier, which I have guided, and they have loved this sport, which is most important. Sometimes some people are forced into some sports, but they are liking the sports, but sometimes which I can't deliver it for them. That's the time the disappointment comes. Today, I know that Dane was caught up with dengue for the first selection trials, which has happened in November, which he was well prepared. But unfortunately, just because of this dengue, just 4 days before the event, has lost him completely. Because psychology is one of the most and biggest weapon in any success. But there was, lots of thoughts which was traveling around in his mind. And then I said not to worry, things will happen. And then we had our Christmas, which is I'm a small businessman, which my family are, united. We run together. I have to look in those grounds also. The second selection trial was in January, just after 1 month. He had to recover from his dengue, which was badly affected, which did not allow him to put his performance. So, and soon after that, within 7 to 8 days, there was a third trials. Basically, the federation has finished all the 3 trials within a month. Within 3 months. Earlier, the selection criteria was every 2 months. Within 6 months, they could finish the program. Why? They could give the opportunities for the other sailors. Okay, you have done this. Okay, you have got a better option for the next one. Train hard, get back to you. But in this situation, it was so early, and that's how things went off. And most important is, I could not give them a brand new equipment, which was still, trickling in his mind. He has been using for a year, one equipment. He's been training, and the same equipment he has been using for the competition. Today it's so difficult for me to survive both the kids into this field, and this sport is so expensive. Today, just before 10 days, I've got one quotation which I wanted to buy. It is costing almost about 12 lakhs for one set. How can I survive? Luckily, as I was in this event, somebody told me that his child is training with him, and I've been paying $100 per day. So today, our Indian top coaches are charging $100 per day. And just because I am their father, I have given free training and got them to this level. I only say today that our CM should understand our needs, because it is a matter of our pride for the state as well as for our country, and to support them, because now we cannot wait no more, because we are in short of time. The training programs need to be done, and not only internationally, in Europe, because there is a big fleet. The training programs are different, international coaches are different. So I hope that will be get support from the CM, which I'm looking out from their personal resources, because there are some pending bills which are still almost about 8 months, nearly, 12 to 15 legs pending. And how again? This time, like just for these 2 events, I have lost another 5 legs. Staying in Bombay, taking the coach boat, all the necessary things. It's been very difficult.
What about the association that is there?
Well, of course they are also trying now. Our new president who has been elected from Goa Yachting, he seems to be very supporting. But since the proposals are put, but still yet it is he's working on, and I think so it will come. But more important is if we get in time when we are in need of, that is most important.
So what is the training now is going to happen now?
See, now my programs are there is one event in Thailand, and then the European circuit starts, which is in, say, on 30th of May. There's one championship. Basically, my target is now there is a world championship in August, which is the Olympic qualifier. So if they train over there, and if they reach to that level, so tomorrow we might have hope to get qualified in India for the Olympics. So the training program is more important in Europe, because if you want to target at Olympics, which I have done all these programs from the grassroots level, and I know the development program, if you lay it down with the vision, everything is possible.